What's going on, man? We at the second week of OTAs. It's going down. We got some injury updates for the Carolina Panthers as well. The media, they're doing their thing now that it's that dead time, so they're putting out rankings, and one of our players got disrespected. So we got to react to all of that. And, of course, we have some news about some guys that may be putting in some work to have a breakout second year. But we have all that and more in this edition of Panthers News today. I am Aaron Duncan. You can follow me at Dunk On Demand up here. You can see my @ handle on Twitter, on YouTube, well, not on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. Pretty much any social media, you can find me there. Or you can follow the channel, subscribe to the channel at UB Sports Talk. The YouTube.com/UB Sports Talk is where you can find me. Again, I am Aaron Duncan, the host. This is Panthers Weekly. Shout out to Bleacher Report on the collaboration. But let's go ahead and get into the Panthers news today. So first things first, let's get some injury updates, right? So Tommy Tremble. Last week we got on here and talked about Tommy Tremble and what was going on. Apparently he had back surgery, and we didn't really know what the cause was. It kind of came out of nowhere. It's very, very late in the offseason. Dave Canales came out and said one thing about him being ready for training camp. The team spokesperson came out and said that, no, not so fast. He'll be ready to rehab at training camp. And now we got Dave Canales coming back and saying, like, hey, Tommy, there's a chance. There's a chance he might be ready. He might be ready for preseason or come back after preseason. Very, very confusing. I understand. I'm confused as well because back injuries are weird. And that's exactly what he said. He said it kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of flared up. So we got our answer of why it took so long for them to address this issue with Tommy Tremble's back. But it doesn't really make me feel any better. Again, what's going on with the training staff? Why are things so ambiguous? And I know these back injuries can be tricky, but at the same time, I don't know, because I know some people are talking about, we hear these injuries, prognosis, and we start thinking Jonathan Brooks, where it seemed like this was gonna happen, but it ended up being a lot longer than we thought. This is a new training staff, guys. Things are different. This is a different injury, different players. Guys heal differently, but at the same time, having some clarity would feel a little bit better as fans. But regardless, it is what it is. With that happening, JT Sanders is going to have to step up. I repeat, JT Sanders is going to have to step up. Now, we heard from Dave Canales talking about it because after JT Sanders' rookie year, he was being thrusted into action because of injuries. Yet again, it happened in the preseason. I'm talking about Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble, those guys like that got injured in preseason and training camp. So Jatavian Sanders really got all the reps. It kind of helped accelerate his development and give him a lot of opportunities to show what he can do. And he had a pretty solid rookie year, had rookie records for receiving yards. I think he had, 300-something yards, 33 receptions. He kind of tailed off towards the end after that neck injury. He talked about in an article recently, an interview, Jatavian Sanders said that it felt like whiplash in a car accident. And so it definitely changed him because down the stretch, there were some games where he was only getting one target or no targets. Wasn't really getting the ball. Finished fairly strong against the Falcons with a nice little hole shot from Bryce Young deep down the field and made some other plays as well. So he looked to be in good spirits there. But Coach Canales mentioned how he really dedicated himself to his craft. He said that after the exit meetings from last season, he told all the rookies, he challenged them. He was like, hey, guys, this is not school where as soon as things go, you're going right back to mandatory team workouts. There's a lot of downtime. He challenged those rookies to really put in the work, particularly JT Sanders. Now, of course, I was a bit disappointed in some of the, I guess, athleticism or lack thereof that translated to the next level for JT Sanders. This guy was a phenomenal athlete at Texas. He was good after the catch. He was great running the seam, stretching the field vertically. And we saw flashes of that from him as a rookie. But him breaking tackles, making guys miss, I expected a little bit more. I'm not sure why or if I was wrong to, because he didn't test overly well at the combine, but just on tape, he looks way more athletic than he tested and how he translated to the big leagues. Now, of course, it seems like he was carrying a little bit of extra weight. Not necessarily that's a bad thing, but it's just in college, you're really eating on your own. You're not really being forced to eat a healthy, extremely healthy diet. You're so young that your body can pretty much take any kind of extra calories and turn it into muscle or whatever you're going on. But apparently he was 255 and he has now slimmed down to 245 pounds, really changed his diet. He had a quote from an interview. Let's look at it right here. Jaycee Sanders said he avoided junk food since returning to Charlotte for the offseason program. He hired a private chef to prepare meals for him, such as steak, rice, and broccoli, or chicken Alfredo with broccoli. The 6'4" Sanders weighed in at 245 on Tuesday at OTAs after playing last season at 255. He said, quote, "Last year I was definitely one of them dudes. Definitely give me a little Domino's pizza or whatever." Same, bro. Same. I can't do it no more because I done got older. But man, look, I love me some DoorDash. I love me some late night eats. Domino's is my pizza of choice, as controversial as it may seem. But I feel you, bro. It happens to the best of us. He said, but now if I'm hungry at 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to open up one of the meal prep containers. But it's glad to see that he's making these healthy choices. Because to me, if I had the bread, bro, I would be the healthiest guy in the world. I'm not really sure, not even just a knock on JT, but any professional athlete or rich person, if you can afford a private chef, why not? Home cooked hot meals every meal is way better than DoorDash or fast food. I do DoorDash because I ain't got no time. I got kids. I'm busy. I'm working. That's why I do it. But if I had a private chef that can cook every meal, you can eat good, healthy stuff. There's healthy recipes that are amazing. It's just, it costs an arm and a leg to buy every little ingredient and find those recipes and then keep them fresh without eating the same thing or putting them in meal prep containers. Granted, he's doing meal prep himself, but he has a chef cooking them. So to me, if you got the bread, it's not that hard to eat healthy. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm getting off my soapbox because I wish I had the bread because, again, there are healthy meal options that are taste amazing. Everything that's healthy ain't nasty if you got the money. It's just expensive to buy all this stuff and these little ingredients to make one-off meals ever so often. You know what I'm saying? Like, I stick to the chicken breast and rice and broccoli and turkey tacos and turkey spaghetti, all that simple stuff. That's what I got to stick to because I ain't got it like that. But the folks that got it like that, they should be able to do it. That's just my thoughts. But he was a little soft in the midsection last year, bro. I can't even lie. Like when I say I wanted to see that, I put that in my little recap and things to improve on when I put in his rookie recap film breakdown on my channel. So go ahead and check that out. I'll link it up if you haven't seen it. But I talked about it because there were times where he got stopped in his tracks where he could have fought for an extra yard and actually moved the sticks instead of getting stopped in his tracks. Sometimes if you move your feet and you're getting low and you're strong enough, you can be able to move the pile. And sometimes he got stopped in his tracks. But we also saw the guy that, in my opinion, had some good flashes after the catch, particularly that Saints game, hurdling guys, breaking tackles, keeping his balance, doing that at 255. And now that you're actually in the gym and in shape, I feel good about what he can do because look at what he's doing here at OTAs, running some routes. He looks pretty good. During the check down, getting upfield, looking a little bit slender, looking a little bit of explosion out of there. He looks like he's moving a lot better down the seams when you see him running there. He looks pretty good, man. You can see noticeable difference. He was a little bit softer in the arms and in the midsection, like I said last year, but now he's moving pretty well, getting in and out of his breaks. Looks good. I'm hoping for a JT Sanders jump. Look, if you're looking for a potential breakout candidate on this team, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jatavian Sanders. Even though we drafted a guy like Mitchell Evans, who's more of that traditional Y tight end, having a move tight end that's an F like Jatavian Sanders, who's used in the slot, used at the wing, put in the backfield at times, put out wide at times we've seen, even against the Falcons. His versatility is something that's going to be an asset that we play multiple tight end sets, that 12 personnel. He can be a receiver. We could play 11 personnel type of stuff with 12 personnel on the field, meaning you put Mitchell Evans at the traditional tight end, but you use Jatavian Sanders at wide receiver. When the defense sees two tight ends in the huddle, they're going to go with two extra linebacker instead of an extra DB, and then you split JT out there. Now he's matched up against a linebacker you expect him to probably beat, or he's matched up against a DB who we've seen him beat in the 50-50 scenario. So I'm really hoping for a breakout year for Jatavian Sanders. It seemed like he was really putting things together, and up until even in that Chiefs game, it seemed like he was set up for a good game until he had that neck injury. So I want to see what he can do with this new body that he's put together, and he continues to stay in shape because after mandatory minicamp, there's going to be that 6 weeks before training camp. Is he going to stay on the grind and keep working on his body? We will see, but I'm loving the progress from JT Sanders. You guys let me know how you feel about JT Sanders in a potential breakout year. Okay, so more injury updates. Jimmy Horn Jr. Jimmy Horn Jr. is nursing a hamstring injury. He's been out. He's probably going to miss, I'm assuming, the 5th. We'll see if he's back for mandatory minicamp next week, which starts on June 10th. But Jimmy Horn Jr., the fan favorite, he is out right now with the hamstring injury. Jalen Coker and Taylor Moton return to practice. These are guys that missed last week. We know Jalen Coker was nursing a soft tissue injury. He's back in action. Good news to hear because I want some big things from Jalen Coker as well. Very, very nice rookie year for an undrafted free agent. And then, of course, Taylor Moton. We're gonna need our O-line intact. I mean, granted, he's older, so he's going to be on that pitch count regardless because of some of the chronic issues that he has injury-wise. But good to have Moton back on the field. Next topic, T-Mac. T-Mac was interviewed by I guess the press after practice, and he talked about, they asked him what are some things that he wanted to work on as far as just being new to the league and what the coaches are working with him on. And he talked about him going against Jaycee Horn and the challenge of playing against those physical corners. Now, of course, at the college level, you just don't see a ton of physical coverage like that. It's hard to play press. It's hard to play man coverage at the college level with just the gap in talent. And so many teams don't really do that. So receivers don't really face a ton of that. So especially physicality from a guy that's physically dominant over some guys. And I talked about this in his preview and breakdown of how he's not the typical big body wide receiver because he actually doesn't use his size as much as other big body wide receivers. Yes, he uses it in terms of the 50-50 scenario and going up and elevating, but he doesn't use it in terms of a physicality standpoint. And so people were wondering, can he play through the physicality? Yes, he has we've seen some flashes on tape, and he has the size, obviously. He's bigger than any DB that he's going to face. He just has to lean into that more, and you can coach that out of him. And that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been working with him on releases one-on-one with receivers coach Rob Moore. They've been working on fighting through contact during your reps, during your route, working on stacking DBs and putting them on your back. And that way at the top of the route, you can win there. And he just talked about how iron sharpens iron, him going against Jaycee Horn, getting the chance to go against one of the most grabby corners in the league, because we know Jaycee Horn can be grabby at times. He's had his share of holding calls, illegal contacts, and pass interferences in his career. But he's definitely gotten away with it a lot as well, which is what makes him so great. He knows how to play physical, but physical enough where he toes that line and makes it hard on the refs, but physical enough to really disrupt the receivers he goes against. So no better person for T-Mac to go against in practice than Jaycee Horn. But these were the knocks that I had on T-Mac coming out, and it's good to see that the team agrees and they have not wasted time immediately going to work. We saw from the first day of rookie camp, T-Mac was working pre-practice with Coach Rob Moore on those releases, on fighting off contact, swiping down hands during his route when guys are trying to get hands on you and push you off your track. So they know it. We know it. Let's just put in the work and make things happen. These are things that are easily coachable, which is why I don't understand why there was such a big knock on T-Mac coming out. There was a knock on Xavier Legette about his ability to create separation and get off press and stuff like that. Clearly, he put in a lot of work his own, but the coaching also helped him bring that out of him. We really didn't see a problem from that from him in that standpoint throughout the year because he progressed and got better. These are things that are easily coachable, especially when you have the strength like XL has and the size like XL has, but also like T-Mac has as well. So you just have to build upon that and lean into those gifts and traits that they have. So I'm happy to see that they're working on his weaknesses. I'm expecting big things from T-Mac. I'm excited. Real quick, we got some news about preseason football this year. Yes, preseason football this year is going to be very, very interesting because the Panthers have 2 games on NFL Network. Yes, if you have NFL Game Pass or NFL Pro, whatever it may be, where you usually get the free preseason games, your SOL, especially if you got cable or something like that, because the Panthers are going to be on TV anyway. So you're wasting your money if you want to see the rest of the rookie class and watch every other team in the NFL, you can. But if you bought it for the Panthers, sorry guys, you're wasting your money because 2 of them on NFL Network. I'm in the same boat as you. Don't even worry about it, man. We're going to be all right. But regardless of that, I just think that having 2 games, which is week 1 and week 3, week 1 is going to be against the Browns, of course, and week 3 is going to be against the Steelers. The week 2 matchup against the Texans, we got a joint practice, 1 joint practice, but no nationally televised game on NFL Network. They do play the replays of all the preseason games, so you can see that as well. But if you want to watch it live, that's going to be off there. But I just thought it was interesting for us to be able to get 2 games, especially our first one is going to be on a Friday, right? So I'm super excited. I think it was the August 8th is when it is, if I'm not mistaken, of that date. So I'm gonna be counting down the days. I think we're 65 days away. We're like a little under 100 days away for the regular season, but preseason is plenty for me. I'm not greedy. I want football. 65 days is just about 2 months or so. Not that long, guys. We don't have long. We getting close, man. I can almost taste the Panthers football. I can smell the pigskin in the air. I can taste the wings and the ranch dressing and the beer. We almost there, dog. We almost there. And so we'll get 2 appetizers on national TV. Again, first preseason game is going to be the Browns. All right. Last but certainly not least, Jaycee Horn spazzes on PFF. This dude went off. And the disrespect is crazy from these guys. And Jaycee Horn, of course, this is that time of year where there's not really a ton to do. So what these guys start doing is start putting out their preseason position ranks. Now, what is it based on? Is it based on last year? Is it based on a career? Is it based on body of work? There's not a ton of clarity in terms of that, because in terms of the defensive tackle group, Derrick Brown was still ranked number 7, even though he only played, 50, 60 snaps last year, but he's still a premier run defender in the NFL. Did not affect his rankings. Jaycee Horn, though, not the same scenario in terms of where he came ranked at. So here's the top 10 rankings that PFF put out. Number 1, Sauce Gardner. Number 2, Pat Surtain. 3, Trent McDuffie. 4, Jalen Johnson. 5, Stingley. 6, DJ Reed. 7, Marlon Humphrey. 8, Christian Benford. 9, Jair Alexander. And 10, Denzel Ward. Now, I'm not going to argue and say that Jaycee Horn deserves to be in the top 10. I understand the knocks on him, because people are going to not say what they want. They're dug in on how they feel about Jaycee Horn. Let's see what PFF said about it. So PFF said that Horn is talented, but he has struggled with injuries in the NFL. Despite the league's second highest paid corner, Horn ranks only 23rd in PFF advanced coverage grade over the past 3 seasons and 23rd in standard PFF grade with a 79.6 across the past 2. Jaycee Horn thus responded and said, "This is what happens when you let nerds who never touch the field feel like they know ball, man." Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. And this tweet has since been deleted. He called John Costco a nerd. A nerd, man. A nerd. Look, PFF, it has its purpose. It is a great resource for analytics in terms of alignment on snap counts, where guys are. You can put 2 and 2 together on certain things. It keeps a lot of great statistics, but in terms of their grade, very, very subjective in my opinion compared to what I see on film. Again, I don't know if Jaycee Horn is top 10, but he is definitely damn sure not 25. That's disrespectful. Let's look at this top 10. Let's look at the problems. Why is Sauce Gardner number 1? I'm going to start at the top. I'm just going to say it. Why is Sauce Gardner the number 1 corner? If Pat Surtain is the defensive player of the year and the defensive player happens to play a position on defense, which is corner, why is he not number 1? Should Sauce have gotten the defensive player of the year? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? Fine. Trent McDuffie having a problem. Quality corner. I think Derek Stingley is better than Jalen Johnson. I think he's a better corner than Jalen Johnson. And number 6, why is DJ Reed this high? Is DJ Reed really like that? Is he? I'm not really in the trenches like that. I know he got a bag this year to go to the Lions, but is he really like that? Because I was at joint practice with the Jets, so I'm up close and personal. He was getting his lunch money taken by Jonathan Mingo and Terrace Marshall Jr. Both guys are maybe out of the league here soon. So is DJ Reed need to be this high? And is Jair Alexander still a top 10 corner? Because they're trying to move off of him and the antics and whatever he got going on. So this top 10 is even shaky being objective, because again, I'm not going to gas up Jaycee because y'all not going to believe me. Y'all going to call me biased. I don't think Jaycee Horn is 25 in the league. That's pretty ridiculous to me. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. And I know this wasn't the best year for him. Even though he played a full year and made a Pro Bowl, he's had better years with smaller bodies work personally. He gave us some touchdowns this year, more than I expected. But at the same time, they had no pass rush. This guy is playing with one arm tied behind his back when you talk about the lack of pass rush. Because everybody else on this list, they have a pretty decent pass rush. The Jets, yeah. The Broncos, yeah. The Chiefs, yeah. The Bears, yeah. The Texans, yeah. The Ravens, yeah. The Bills, yeah. Green Bay, yeah. Rashawn Gary. The Browns, yeah. So, like, what he's doing with the circumstances, there got to be a little bit more respect to 25. 25 is crazy disrespectful, and he's right to spaz out on these nerds. The funny part about it is we hired one of those PFF nerds, Eric Eager. He worked for PFF, and the Panthers hired him. He was in the draft room on the blueprint, and he was a major key for the front office, giving them scenarios and percentages and stuff, really doing real nerd type of stuff to help out the draft process. So it's funny, but it ain't, because the disrespect for Jaycee Horn has to stop. But I told Jaycee, I told him, I was like, bro, I told Jaycee on Twitter, I was like, bro, listen, once we start winning, all this stuff is going to take care of itself. When you're not winning, there's just a level of disrespect that you get because people don't really pay attention, right? Yes, I know PFF, they have people that watch every snap, but it's not the same people. It's subjective. And then even when you do get graded game by game, it don't average out to your grade. They just kind of play with some stuff sometimes. But until we get good, the disrespect is going to be crazy. It just is what it is. The prime example is Frankie Louvu. Frankie Louvu had better numbers the year before he went to the Commanders. But he didn't make an all-pro until he went to the Commanders. He had better numbers. Look him up. Frankie Louvu had better numbers his final year in Carolina than he did this year in Dan Quinn, an assistant that he preferred at that, which is fine. But the disrespect of him being ignored from the Panthers and then making what? All-pro with the Commanders with worse numbers? Come on, man. It's because the Commanders are actually good. The Panthers were trash when he was there, but the Commanders are actually good. So it's about winning, bro. And once the Panthers start winning, things are going to take care of itself. The recognition is going to come. People are going to stop knocking Jaycee Horn for old things. People are going to stop. They're going to get out of those that rut that they're dug in on with Bryce Young and really look at what he's doing and not be predetermined based off of the draft that they had, a draft concept they had on or whatever. It happens. I understand the game. It's a nasty game, but it is where we are right now. We got to pull ourselves out of this hole. We're going to be all right. But I appreciate you guys watching. You guys make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you have not. This has been an edition of Panthers Weekly and Panthers News Today. Shout out to Bleacher Report. If you want to check these out, you can go to the Bleacher Report app, follow the Panthers section on there. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going live talking about the latest in Panthers Nation. Holla at your boy. I'm Aaron Ducker signing off. I love y'all. I'll see you next time. Peace.